Alright, so this movie here, it is honestly, I mean, a bit ridiculous how, like, you know, I mean, look, I mean, it's clearly people are making it seem like, you know, like there's a huge, vast chasm, between this and other comedies generally. Even between this and Hangover, which apparently is so well received, right? Like, I'm not saying Hangover isn't funny. I mean, I've watched it, I've watched um I think all of them, unless something else came out and I forgot or something. But it's like, I honestly, sometimes it baffles me how people seem to react to movie, so based on, I guess, who the directors are, I suppose. I mean, okay, so they might have had some, I don't know, shall we say, stilted movies before, but honestly, I mean, you know, I've watched actually many of their movies previously, although most of them I've watched years ago, so I cannot quite comment on them so readily. It's been many, but I remember them being, yeah, I mean, yeah, full of references. First of all, and uh, yeah, I mean, as I said, stilted is what I remember, and obviously, the amount of references makes it a bit annoying, especially to someone who hasn't seen everything. But I don't remember them being utterly unfunny. Though was just, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, comedy is subjective ultimately, but the way that just it's utterly ridiculous. Like here, I've looked into um, what people said about the directors themselves. I mean, about this movie specifically. You know, the AV club called it a joyless patient tester. So Inept doesn't know how to cheat. Its own found footage gimmick. The movie has more awkward dead space than jokes. All the while, I don't know. I just, I, if I type best comedies, if I search for best comedies, I get what? I mean, yes, funnily enough, I haven't actually seen any of the ones listed here. I don't know. I was expecting something else. What's the one I was thinking of? I forgot. I've kind of forgot. But yeah. Oh. Um. Burn After Reading. Have I seen Burn After Reading? Well, as it happens, I mean, what the ones that are listed here, I don't necessarily disagree on necessarily, but yeah, of course, I might also check the comedy genre on IMDb and then sort by most highly rated, But what am I thinking in terms of I mean, even Hangover itself. I mean, it is quite similar, isn't it? This actually might be slightly wilder in the sense, and ultimately the problem is that Hangover slightly takes itself seriously, not terribly, but at the end there, they still end up managing to get to their marriage thing, don't they? So in a sense, it's like, oh, let's end it all sweetly and such. Not even a hint of. I'm not sure if there was any extra comedy at the end. Just yeah. So yeah, I haven't seen it yesterday, so yeah, I don't exactly. I don't quite. Yeah. Uh, but can't quite remember exactly what happened, but or say exactly. I mean, but I don't know. All I'm saying is, they do seem to be overreacting, and then what they say generally about the directors is ridiculous. There's just so much here. It's just what the hell, Um, because, I mean, as I said, I kind of forgot a bit exactly what the earlier movies were like because I've seen them some time ago. I've seen most of them though. I think I think I've seen more than I haven't seen. It's just so ridiculous though how just I mean just and I mean it's some Josh Levin of Slate compares them to negatively obviously to several people here. I'm not entirely sure why, because most of them aren't even comedians like Michael Bay. What's Michael Bay doing there? He's just all about visual effects, right? Which is a little different. Even compares them to Kevin Costner, who, as far as I know, is just an actor, unless I'm mistaken. And apparently he might be a film director. So, I don't know if he directs comedies, though. Yes. Anyway, yeah. And then some other people I haven't seen, so ironically, also compares them to Uwe Boll, who is not a comedian either, but ironically because he's actually very much criticized himself, as far as I know. No idea why they're being compared to this guy, except he's criticized in the other direction. He directs. He used to direct. Apparently, he started again just this year, I think. But he's into action movies, right? I remember watching one year where this guy just goes and just shoots up Wall Street. So yeah, just over the top. But I'm sure it's sort of strange coming from a German, but I don't know, culturally speaking. But anyway, yeah, it's weird how, I mean, honestly, there's so much hyperbole here. You may lump them all because they bleed together in cinematic hell. I mean, just if I was even slightly entertained, I wouldn't call it cinematic hell. I was certainly bored far more by other movies, Like, I watched Vampire Suck when in the cinema actually when it came out for some reason. Apparently, it was the most, I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, I'm not saying I was was really entertained by it or anything. Funnily enough, I hadn't even seen. And I've still not seen the one it was trying to spoof. So I have no idea what it was trying to spoof. And, as I say, I don't remember being terribly entertained by it, but I don't remember being terribly bored either. The same with Date, Epic, Disaster Movie. I think I've seen them all. So it's a bit weird, isn't it? How this happens? Because it entertained me. This entertained me. It was wild, right? Like, and ultimately, I don't know what else. What else does one want? Sometimes, something. I was saying always. But in a comedy, what does one want? I mean, there's really bland. Comedies that barely even have any comedies in them. This was a full on the other hand, like they could have went with just partying constantly, and barely had any comedy. Just we're just looking at them partying, which is the direction many go, many that probably are said to be very funny. I mean, just seeing someone partying isn't very funny, in my opinion. I mean, there were a few scenes, yeah, where they were partying, which, it's just whatever, yeah. But at least it was just a few scenes, as it happened. So, yeah, so I'm just saying it's not incredibly long or anything. So, I wasn't terribly bored. And then, they really emptied up. I kind of missed who the directors were before I watched it, so I didn't exactly have any sort of preconception or anything that made me think this is where they're coming from. Only realized it afterwards. But frankly, I just it's a lot of overreaction, in my opinion. I mean, I did actually start to watch their movies because they're in the bottom to 5.0, especially the ones literally suffixed by a movie. Apart from Scary Movie, apparently, which was well received, but that's just written by them, apparently, and not directed. I'm not sure what difference it makes, because ultimately it's the writing that matters, doesn't it? But yeah, it's just strange. It's the entire thing. It's just bizarre how people react to them based on just. Apparently, the Disaster movie is the lowest rated at 1.9. Yeah, I well, I cannot say I remember watching it. I did watch it, but not quite remember. I'm not saying they're memorable. I'm not saying they're the best movies ever. It's weird though how people seem to make this distinction. Similarly, I just wonder how. Some movies really seem like, just worshipped almost, and I'm just baffled by it because it's just bizarre how some, especially when it comes to, either the average rating or even critical reception. I mean, obviously, you don't normally get too much in terms of, critics. Appreciating these, sort of lowbrow movies. But, if one were to compare this or any other of their movies as well to, say, there's several that they can be compared with, certainly. But, let's just say, if they were compared with what else? Right, American Pie. You know what I mean? It's American Pie seems to be much more well received. I'm not sure if it's critically well received, but it's ridiculous, right? It's very similar. It's not wilder though, I think. So in a sense, I mean, there are some wild scenes, but it's not consistently wilder in American Pie. In some instances, it's well, I mean, many of these movies tend to have this disgusting element as well that they think it's funny, as usual. This did as well, but very momentarily. So as long as they don't sort of focus on it, then I guess I'm fine with it. I don't know. I'd rather it not be there at all. I honestly don't know what's funny about. Discussed, they're generally two different sort of things. But yeah, these sort of things. I don't know. I don't mind watching. What's called sex comedies. I don't know why they need to venture into discussing territory. So it's not supposed to be the same thing. Raunchy shouldn't be disgusting, it can be raunchy without being disgusting, I think Waiting as well had something similar, if I remember correctly. It had some raunchy, even though it was about food, but it also had disgusting from what I remember. Um, yeah, I mean, not to the same extent. I think it was better received still. So, yeah. Seriously, the one that's most bizarre is American Pie, right? I mean, it is generally. Yeah, my impression is. Let me confirm it. My impression is it's way better received. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's not just my impression. It's 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10? Are you kidding me? All he does is fuck a pie. That's it. It's in the title. And I don't know. People seem to think it's the most funny thing ever. It's bizarre. And all it is throughout the entire movie is just literally what the synopsis says. Yeah, just losing their virginity by prom night, and probably the most semi-funny thing there was is that guy just calling one of their other mothers by her surname and adding Mrs. to it and repeatedly call. I mean, that's probably the funniest thing, and it's barely funny because I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the first word in the movie title that somehow makes everyone feel so good about it. I don't know, honestly. This is what I mean. That people are weird. What's even weirder though is that these series do make it weird. Because I mean, make it in the sense that well, I mean the series reception specifically is what is weird, because I mean if you look at the entirety here, so all the others are rated less generally, but not much less. Still, this is the thing, right? Why? I mean, they're all very similar otherwise, but why necessarily rated less than if they're all very similar? Well, whatever. I guess ultimately, yeah. It's not quite as weird as I admit as the Psycho franchise. It's so the original is so ridiculously overrated, and the others, all the sequels, I think one of them is really much lower. I mean, really, what is the difference? There literally is barely any difference between them. And ironically, I ended up liking some of the sequels more than the original, possibly. I don't know, the original is just whatever. But yeah, people are just weird. The perceptions of this is just weird. I don't know. I keep going. It's not like I really feel strongly about this movie or anything. I really don't. It's just weird to me how, though, this whole thing is just treated. I mean, yeah, there's many other movies that I yeah. So I didn't. I don't feel like it's the funniest thing ever or anything, but nor do I think it's terrible. Like, yeah, if you take anything really, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I think maybe I shouldn't just bother to compare anymore. It's irrelevant really, but yeah, just yeah, it's I personally don't mind them at any rate. Is all I'm saying. I don't think generally they're the best movies ever. When it comes to the other movies as well. But I literally, well, funnily enough, I rated them all the same. Oh, uh, uh, apart from Spyhard, apparently I don't even remember watching it. They apparently just wrote this screenplay for it. apparently I seem to have this like spy heart. As I say, I don't really remember watching it, so cannot comment on it. But apart from that, apparently, here it seems like I've watched Epic, Disaster, and Empire Suck. I could swear I watched Date Movie, maybe not, I don't know. Yeah, so, I thought I watched Scary Movie as well, I don't know. Maybe I didn't mark. So, anyway, yeah, yeah, it's bizarre to me anyway, but, because, I really didn't mind them, it was just, I have other standards, I guess. I usually rate really lonely, those which, the kind of movies that, well, especially that have, propaganda in them, for example, that are obviously, bollocks, but clearly that's not the same standards as people have, which, obviously it's the absolute opposite. If anything recent, has anything to do with it. Obviously, there is also, I'm not saying, people shouldn't rate, things that are obviously unfunny. I've seen worse when it comes to comedy, is all I'm saying. I mean, I could, I guess, try to see which comedies I rated the least, yeah. But whatever. Honestly, I think I'll just finish here. It's ridiculous that I even went on for so long about it. But it's just, honestly, it's just ridiculous. Generally, though, how much they, like, as you keep saying, it's the 50 worst movies ever. All these people wanted to do is make their own movies, because apparently the scripts were being, I'm not sure if they were actually bought and then discarded or not bought at all, but apparently, so, it's weird, but yeah, apparently they haven't made anything since 2015 though. So yeah, that's just a couple of years after this movie. I mean, I don't mind either way if they make anything anymore. But all I'm saying is, it's just, I don't know, people are just so bizarre. It's one thing if, people are split about it, like, 5 out of 10 say that's a split, I guess. I mean, there's so much, that's in the, if you compare, top to 50, bottom to 50, I think bottom 100 or something, if the limit is. Yeah. But anyway, it's just so ridiculous, right? I mean, I'm not sure if there are many actually comedies in the top 250. But even the ones that aren't necessarily comedies, I really, really didn't think highly of if one can compare different genres. So, I mean, whatever, people's standards are strange, I certainly didn't think too highly of many in the top 250. I thought highly of some, but not by the majority. I didn't. I think so. Yeah, this was mediocre, but it wasn't necessarily unfunny.